A young boy named Ma Jae rises early, quietly slipping out of bed. Though still a child, he carries himself with quiet responsibility, caring for his small, modest home with impressive maturity. As the morning sun rises, Jae begins his daily chores, sweeping the dusty floor, washing dishes, and tidying every corner with care. Every movement reflects a discipline far beyond his years. Jae also tends to his sick grandmother, Lee, unaware that she isn't truly related to him. In truth, she's a renowned teacher living under the guise of a grandmother as part of a hidden plan. Despite his age, Jae never complains. He simply does what needs to be done, for his home, and for the woman he believes is family. At school, the staff takes notice of Jae's situation. The principal offers assistance, but his father, Ma Chenggang, firmly declines. Help is offered, but pride, and something deeper, stands in the way. Chenggang insists they're fine. Jae is strong and doesn't need help. The principal offers again, but Chenggang politely refuses. What no one knows is itzolanakt. Chenggang is secretly one of China's richest men. He owns entire businesses and properties but hides it all from Jae. He bought an old neighborhood, filled it with hidden cameras, and watches his son grow up in hardship. Why? He wants Jae to grow up tough and grateful, unlike his spoiled older son, Ma Dajuan. Jae's life of struggle isn't real. It's a test he doesn't know he's taking. Jae doesn't even know he has a brother. Chenggang believes raising Jae in fake poverty will teach him the value of hard work and build his character. His wife, Chunlan, initially disagreed. She saw Jae as a kind, gentle child who didn't deserve to suffer. But Chenggang shared his own story, how growing up poor pushed him to succeed. He wants Jae to one day lead the family empire, unlike Dajuan, who grew up soft and entitled. Eventually, Chunlan agreed. But not everyone was on board. Jae's grandparents strongly opposed the idea, calling it cruel and misguided. They tried to stop what they saw as a terrible mistake. In the present, Jae's grandparents are deeply worried about him. On his birthday, they decide to surprise him after school with an expensive gift. But Chenggang quickly intercepts them, having his staff guide them into a car and send them away. He warns that spoiling Jae would ruin the life lessons he's trying to teach. Still upset, the grandparents visit Jae briefly. They're shocked at how much he's changed. More mature, more serious. To avoid slipping up about the family's true wealth, they keep the conversation light. Before leaving, Jae's grandfather secretly gives him some money. Jae beams with joy, saying he'll save it to help his family, proof of his selfless heart. That night, the family gathers for their usual quiet routine, reading books together, unaware of the storm quietly building around them. Chenggang tells Jae that reading and learning lead to success. Jae, puzzled, asks why they're still poor if they read daily. Chenggang just smiles and says he only started enjoying books recently. That night, while Jae sleeps, Chenggang and Chunlan retreat to their secret base, filled with surveillance screens. They watch Jae closely, believing he'll grow into a strong, grateful heir if he stays grounded. The next morning, Chunlan sends Jae to buy groceries. On the way, Jae pauses at a shoe store, eyeing a pair he wants to gift his dad. Back home, he hands over the groceries, saying he got everything. But Chunlan notices a hidden shoe box in his jacket. She smiles, quietly moved by Jae's thoughtful gesture. Proud of her son, Chunlan tells the secret kitchen staff in the hidden basement how sweet and thoughtful Jae is. Later, Chenggang visits the hidden base. A guard notes that Jae is sharp and even shows business sense, but Chenggang wants to test him further. He pretends to leave on a long business trip, telling Jae he's now in charge of the house. It's a setup to see how Jae handles pressure and responsibility. Jae is sad to see his father go, but he wants to make him proud. The next morning, he decides to sell his tablet, a recent gift, so he can finally buy the shoes. At the shop, the owner examines it and says it's broken and worthless. Jae is crushed. Tears well up as he explains this was their last valuable item. Without it, he fears the family won't survive. Still, despite his heartbreak, he puts on a brave face and tries to keep his mother and grandmother smiling. Jae takes his mother and grandmother out for a simple meal, proudly saying he'll pay with his own savings. To earn money, he collects trash from the streets to sell, despite classmates mocking him. But Jay stays strong, quietly determined. From the hidden base, Changgang watches, deeply moved by his son's grit. Wanting to test him further, he lets Jay believe he's completely on his own. In a moment of desperation, Jay nearly considers doing something illegal, but stops himself, choosing honesty over survival. That's when Changgang returns home. He embraces Jay, full of pride, and tells him he's proven his courage and heart. Then he reveals his plan to enroll Jay in one of China's top universities, fully paid. With a warm smile, Changgang even jokes, "Let's collect more recyclables together. Might fund your dorm snacks." After a long day collecting recyclables, Jay suddenly takes off running, with incredible speed. His parents are stunned. He moves like a natural athlete. News spreads quickly. A coach from the national team visits their home and offers Jay a full scholarship to train professionally. Jay is thrilled, announcing his dream to represent China in the Olympics. But Changgang grows uneasy. If Jay becomes an athlete, who will inherit the family empire? After some thought, he gives Jay his blessing, at least on the surface. That night, Changgang sneaks into Jay's room. He applies a strange substance to Jay's legs, quietly sabotaging his future. By morning, Jay wakes up confused. His legs are numb. He tries to stand, but he can't. Changgang takes Jay to a trusted doctor, one in on the plan. The doctor lies, telling Jay his legs are permanently injured and that his running career is over. Jay is devastated. His dream of the Olympics, shattered. Changgang hugs him, offering comfort and saying, asterisk, maybe it's time to chase an even greater dream. Asterisco. Years pass. Jay, now a high school senior, has become sharp, disciplined, and top of his class, shaped by years of hardship. Changgang is proud, confident Jay is ready to enter a top university and inherit the family empire. One day, as an odd punishment for being too smart, Jay is sent home early. Walking back, he sees something shocking: his grandmother, Lee, playing basketball with a group of strangers. When she spots him, she panics and runs. Jay is frozen in place, completely confused. When Jay gets home, he looks for answers, but his mother isn't there. Later, he sees Chunlan return, dressed in fine clothes and wearing expensive jewelry. It doesn't match the life they've claimed to live. Something feels off. Deeply wrong. Jay's world begins to unravel. Confused and hurt, he leaves the house, unsure of what to believe. Sensing that Jay is close to the truth, Changgang steps in. He calmly blames Jay's suspicions on stress and offers him time off from school to rest. But Jay can't shake the feeling. Something is being hidden, maybe even by his father. In truth, Lee was never his real grandmother, just one of Chinggong's employees. After getting caught playing basketball, she's quietly reassigned to another role in the secret base. The next morning, Jay wakes up to a house that feels different. Quiet, cold, empty. His father tells him that Grandma Lee has passed away. Jay is devastated. He has no idea it's all part of Chinggong's carefully planned illusion. A fake funeral is arranged, and Changgang brings Jay to the site. Jay approaches the coffin and drops to his knees, overwhelmed with grief. He sobs for the woman he believed raised him with love and kindness. Inside the coffin, very much alive, listens in silence. Jay's heartfelt words Pierre Cher. She nearly cries herself. In that moment, she realizes the bond between them is real. Jay is more than just part of her job. He's family. As Jay mourns, Changgang quietly instructs his team to remove Lee before Jay notices. But just before they do, Jay cries out once more. I love you, Grandma. His voice shakes. And so does her heart. Grandma Lee can't take it anymore. Jay's final words, asterisk, I love you, Grandma, asterisk, break through her resolve. Her heart aches, and she nearly bursts into tears. Overwhelmed by love and guilt, she almost rises from the coffin, breaking character entirely. But before things spiral, she's quietly removed as planned. After this emotional storm, a new problem begins to stir. At school, Jay is approached by his close friend, Zhang Feifei. She seems uneasy. She tells him that earlier that morning, she saw his mother, Chunlan, entering a luxurious villa, with a man who had long hair. Fei hesitates, then confesses her fear. What if your mom is having an affair? She explains that Changgang doesn't seem like the kind of man a woman like Chunlan would stay with. He looks old, tired, and poor. Jay brushes it off with a nervous laugh. But later, the thought festers. Ikanti shakit. After days of doubt, he finally decides. He'll go to the villa himself and find out the truth. Jay arrives at the villa, determined to confront his parents and finally get answers. Inside, Changgang and Chunlan are casually chatting with a tall man with long black hair, Chunggang's eldest son and Jay's older half-brother. But Jay doesn't know that yet. The moment they see him, his parents rush to change into their worn-out, low-class clothes and put on their usual poor act. When Jay demands an explanation, they stay calm. Changgang tells him there's nothing strange going on, they've simply taken new jobs. He claims to be working as a gardener, and Chunlan as a housemaid at the luxury villa. Jay, visibly relieved, believes them. He even apologizes for doubting them. Later, Changgang takes him on a tour of the villa grounds. When they pass a large swimming pool, Jay suddenly pauses. Something stirs in his memory. He's certain he's been here before. Swimming. Laughing. De place feels entingly familiar. Then, something unexpected happens. A long-haired man bursts in, shouting at Changgang. Before Jay can react, Changgang pulls him into the pool to hide Dajuan's identity. Later, Jay tells his parents he wants to take the entrance exam for China's top university. Changgang smiles and supports him. On exam day, Changgang and Chunlan wait outside proudly. But inside, Dajuan, fueled by jealousy, is preparing something dark, training his body and mind. As the test ends, students exit one by one. But Jay doesn't. Changgang panics and calls his team to start a search. Back at headquarters, news arrives. And it's shocking. Jay has been kidnapped. The captors demand a huge ransom and threaten harm if they don't get it soon. Changgang is furious. With few real enemies, given his control over much of China's market, his mind races. Then it hits him. Could this be Dajuan? Wasting no time, Changgang sends his men to the location listed in the ransom note. But the truth is far more shocking. Jay was never kidnapped. He staged it himself, desperate to uncover the secrets his parents have been hiding. While they're distracted, Jay sneaks into their bedroom and discovers a hidden passage leading to Changang's private office. What he finds inside stuns him. Walls covered in photos of him, every stage of his life. Documents, timelines, and files showing that everything in his life had been planned from the start. The biggest shock comes when Jay discovers Grandma Li is alive, and not his real grandmother. She works for Changgang. When they meet again, she breaks down in tears, apologizing for everything. Soon after, Changgang arrives and drops the act. He tells Jay the full truth. Their family is incredibly wealthy. Everything, the poverty, the struggles, was staged so Jay would grow strong enough to inherit the family empire. Jay is stunned. No teppi. All those years of pain, the dreams he gave up, even the fake medical diagnosis, it was all manipulation. Furious, Jay tells Changgang he doesn't want the money or the legacy. He thanks him for raising him, but says he'll build his own future. With a heavy heart, Jay turns his back on it all and walks away to forge his own path. Years pass. In that time, Dajuan finds his own path. He never meant to hurt Jay, he only wanted to prove his worth. Over time, he becomes one of Jay's biggest supporters. Changgang, now older, watches from afar. Tears fill his eyes, not from regret, but pride. In the final scene, the two parents sit side by side, reflecting on the journey, the lies, the lessons, and the love. They smile and Changgang jokes. Maybe it's time for another child, a new heir. Chunlan laughs. Let's hope they come with fewer secrets.